Right, I want to talk to you about this piece that I just filmed, and it's more about full-time trading. Full-time trading is boring. Now, I know for many of you, that might be hard to hear because you think that it should be really, really exciting, and what you're seeing here on TikTok or what you're seeing on IG or Twitter is the exciting part of it. But what you have to understand is that if you're the type of person that says, right, trading is getting a bit boring, or January's been a bit boring, do you not understand the problem there is that you're seeking excitement from the market. This is what gamblers do. Your success is going to come from the...
So Mark, what is the hardest thing for full-time traders, would you say?
Honestly, it's the things that people don't even realize. That is the problem. I'll explain this, right? Because I've just done a big piece on key things, the non-negotiable things that you need to have in place as a full-time trader. All of the things that you need to have dialed in so you can be successful longer term. It got me thinking on something that I feel that most traders struggle with, which is boredom. Boredom is the enemy. I want you to see it like that. If you're the type of trader that is constantly seeking excitement from the market, the issue is right there, because you got to think about it like this. What do you do in between your trades? That is going to be the key as to whether you'll be successful or not. The January period has just gone, right? We've just gone into February. It's monk mode month, by the way, that we're doing. We're absolutely crushing it. Everybody's fully focused. And what I noticed in this space as a whole, people suffered massively in January. Most likely because they trade, one or two instruments. That's what comes with the territory, unfortunately. Every strategy will have its pros and cons. I would often see things, because people reach out to me all the time, as you can imagine, saying, Mark, I don't trade the way that you trade, but what's your opinion on this? And I would notice that they would write things like, January's been a bit boring. And I would think, first and foremost, what does that even mean to you? Like, I'm gonna ask you the question, what do you actually think that means? Like, if we put, look, right, is trading boring? Is trading boring? Even think about the title of this YouTube episode, right? Full-time trading being boring. What do you think when you read that? Oh, well, that must mean something negative, or that doesn't really feel like it's that, exciting. Do you see the problem there? What if I put full-time trading as exciting? Would you then be more interested? You see, the issue is that if you're looking for excitement, you've already lost, because I already know you're the type of trader that when things are not going the best, and maybe you've not taken a trade for a little bit, you're constantly looking at the markets thinking, oh, it's a bit boring. And what will you do? You will take trades you shouldn't be taking out of boredom, and that is going to be the biggest sabotage to your results. That's why when I always prepare traders for full-time trading, I always make sure everything is in place to avoid that, because I know boredom is the enemy. It would be the same for me. If I didn't run different businesses, I didn't have different projects, different hobbies, I wasn't interested in investments into different asset classes like property, crypto, etc., I would get bored. And even with my skill set, bear in mind, I've been doing this 15 years, longer than most people that you know in this internet space, and I would get bored so easily because I'm not taking that many trades. Like, sometimes, you know what it's like, the market's active, sometimes a little bit slower, it is what it is. However, if I was bored in between, there's only so many books you can read, there's only so many elaborate morning routines that you can do, go into the gym, etc., that you'll realize, okay, how much duration is there in between time? Let's say you are a session trader and you go, Mark, look, I only trade London session, fine. Then what? Like, after that, what do you do? It's like, oh, I go for a run, I do some walking, I read a book. It's like all of these things that they're just tick box exercises that they make you feel good, but in actuality, it's not really moving the needle forward. Another problem that I see that I think most people are not prepared for is that, look, let's say that you win, you're doing well, you're a full-time trader, you expected there to be excitement from what? Like, you're gonna have so much freedom on your hands. Let's say you've gone from working a 9-to-5 job, you're now a full-time trader, now what? You're trading on, let's say, I'm assuming, decent amount of capital. Another quick problem on there, most traders go full-time on too much small capital. They underestimate drawdown, they underestimate the stress, they underestimate the fact that they've just gone from an employee to their jobs, from an employee to the market, and now they're behaving completely different because they've got that pressure. However, they go full-time on too much small capital and expect it to be this, crazy exciting thing. They're just gonna scale up really, really quick. Just because you're trading a couple 100K and you might have gone from 50K to 200K in 3 months, doesn't mean you're going to go from the same duration it took you from 50 to 200. Doesn't mean you're going to go from 200 to now 800 in that same time, because the type of person you need to become, or the experience that you need to go from 200 to, let's say, even 500,000, That might take 2 years. This is the point. So people are massively unprepared in going full time. They've not thought about the longer term plan. I'll give you an example, going back to my point. You've won, you've done it, you're now trading full time. You're actually in a position where you're making 10K a month. Now what? I don't think most traders have actually talked themselves through that. Actually think about it. You're now a full-time trader, you're making about 120K a year, you're part of the top 1% of, let's say, of course there's layers to this, but you're a top 1% earner. Most people are earning £50,000 a year, and even that is considered a decent wage in the UK, right? But let's say you're earning 120K a year. Of course you've got taxes to pay and all that type of stuff, but you're in that top 1% bracket, now what? Let's say you clear £8,000 a month. What are you gonna do now? Are you just gonna upgrade your lifestyle? You're like, right, I've got 8K a month, there's a nice car, I want that car, I wanna move out, now I can afford to buy this house. Then what? You think you're just gonna trade forever? Like, at what point do you realize that you need your money working for you? You need a plan where you might say, well, look, I don't expect to just make 8K a month forever. I'm obviously going to scale up. Okay, well, what have you done? What if you just stay at a similar level for 4 or 5 years? Then what? Have you a plan in place? The point being, I don't think most people are fully prepared for what it takes, which is why I always say to traders that say to me in the community, right, I want to go full-time trading. I try to get them rid of this obsession of like, I want to go full-time, I want to go full-time, because you don't always have to go down that route. What if you love your job? What if you say to me, Mark, do you know what? Because of the way that we trade, and I'll get onto that in a minute, it's so flexible, so dynamic. I'm not glued to every single session. I'm not constantly staring at the charts. I actually like my job, like it's not the worst job in the world. For those that absolutely despise their job, different story. Go and find something that you like, maybe a passion project that you're interested in that might just cover your expenses. Why not that? Versus just going full-time for the sake of it, for ego, right? Where you could build that. You might be making 3K a month from your job, 7K a month from your trading, collectively you're making 10K, you have the ability to scale that up. That's a much smarter route. And then listen, in 5 years, 6 years time, you really decide, you know what, I really don't want to be working this job. Fair enough, you've got the experience under your belt. But people are jumping into full-time trading as quick as possible because they see someone on TikTok or Twitter or IG do it, or even YouTube. I'm trying to help you think more like a professional, because that's what's going to keep you in the game long enough to succeed. That's what's going to actually keep you around, so you've actually got enough money to do something with it. Start investing into assets that's then going to pay you money, because God forbid anything happened to you and you couldn't trade. Well, then what? Have you considered that as well? I think most of us walk around thinking that, right, nothing's going to happen to us, no issues can happen, I'm never going to do this, and this is never going to happen to me until it does, and you're not prepared. It's not fear, it's being a professional, it's being thorough. So I want you thinking from that perspective, that it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Yes, you can have the freedom, you can have these things, but the fundamental core about trading is that the things that make you money, the things that make you successful, are these tedious, boring things, like making sure you're journaling on a regular basis, making sure that you've got a good support network, making sure that you're disciplined. Remember, you've got no one over your shoulder saying, right, get up at this time every single day because it's important. Let's say you're a session trader. No one is looking over your shoulder and going, how come you didn't go to sleep at 10 p.m? Because remember, you need to get up, you need to be sharp, you need to have a routine. You can't be going to the charts anxious, stressed, and not focused. You're trading a decent amount of capital. No one is keeping you accountable but you. So arguably, it's harder. So having a routine, having something that you're passionate about that's going to give you responsibility is part of the strategy. Stop seeing strategy as just technical analysis. Your strategy is your whole entire game plan. For those of you that keep reaching out saying, Mark, I've been stressed out in January, I'm overcomplicating everything. Listen, if you want to learn how to trade properly, you want the resources, you want the in-house fund, you want a proper support network where you know you're going to be trading for decades to come and really be serious about your business. Links are in the description. You know what we're about. We've been here for nearly 7 years. Well, we're just past our 7-year anniversary now, and we're going to be here for 7 more. So if you're interested in that, there it is. We would love to have people with that type of strong mentality in the community. But I just want to show you a few bits on the charts as to what I mean about the flexibility. So this is what I mean, right? I'm just going to show you a couple of trades. So for January, I took 5 trades in total, 10.2%. I'm up 1% for the month in February, and filming this video, I'm up 1% on the Euro CAD position. But look, these are 2 trades on Euro Dollar, right? So this was on the 23rd, that was 3.7. This was on the 24th, and that was 2.5. I had to manually get out of that one a little bit earlier. However, you've got to look at the duration in between. Like those ones, they're close together, a day apart, where sometimes I might not take a trade for 4 days or 5 days, or I'll take a trade on a different instrument. But the same things that we're looking at, right? So for example, it's all about flexibility in your lifestyle. I don't want to be glued to the screen all the time. Our traders that are trading on a fund are not glued to the screen all the time. So what was we waiting for? These highs to be broken, we sell off, we break the low, and we have a continuation underneath, which is the reason for this trade. You've of course got this particular low here. So notice how you had that gap to that low. We was looking at this continuation to take out that low, which was the simple trade. That was it. We're not getting involved in messy, noisy areas, and we used the DXY to our advantage on this one. For those of you that trade euro dollar, by the way, why on earth are you not using the DXY to your advantage? It would have kept you out so many BS trades. I'm not chasing any of these trades, right? I'm waiting for the alerts, I'm waiting for the low to be broken, waiting for the pushback in, and then I wait for my entry, set the entry, and we move on. There's a mechanical management side to it as well that I've just put into Falcon Mechanics. Falcon Mechanics we've had for a couple of months now, which has been a game changer when it comes to the more mechanical approach to the way that we trade. So over the years, of course, I've become better at teaching naturally. I wasn't a natural born teacher, you know, you improve these things. And my goal was to always, for the students, was to make sure, right, how can I make this, you know, no stone left unturned? How can I create a blueprint, if you like, which is now Falcon Mechanics, for people to really get this, where they're not chasing trades, they understand where they're positioned better, they're taking advantage where they actually have an advantage, where the bigger players are stepping in and making sure their trades are in line with that. And that's what Falcon Mechanics really was about. But in between these trades, like super simple stuff. I'm not stressed out worrying about all these different positions. And I think when you go full time, like one of the biggest things is to make sure that you're not doing that as well. You want to make sure that in between that time, that you're not bored. And if you're bored, you will take noisy trades, or you'll try and find this support network where you're going to relate to your level of consciousness. So what I'm saying is that if you don't realize that you're not a proper professional and you're a bit clowning around, and that's just to put it bluntly, you're going to be attracted to other clowns that have that same immaturity towards trading. So then you'll follow in their footsteps and you'll focus on things that are not within your best interest and not going to help. And this will lead you into trying to gamify everything, trying to gamble your way to the top. Listen, you can't gamble your way to the top. Maybe short term you'll get some spikes, but after that, you know, the market will humble you real quick. The amount of people that I saw in 2023 go from 7 figures to no figures, from 500K to no figures, to a 30K withdrawal, to then no consistency for the rest of the year is wild, the volatility here. So what we're teaching is long-term sustainability. Not always the most attractive thing, but it 100% works. But remember, boredom is the enemy. What you do in between your trading will directly be the difference of whether you're successful or not. That you can take it to the bank.